a short time ago as the Falcons were introduced to this sellout crowd. We're set to go as the Falcons get ready to match up with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Hello again, everyone. Brandon Gaudin along with Charles Davis. And, Charles, we take a look at this Falcons team as they interplay. They've been playing their best football of the year, winners of 4 in a row.
And this coaching staff has to be pleased with how their defense played last week. They held their opponents to 3 points, and that was it. If they get anything comparable to that performance, this one's in the bag. On the other side of the field for the visiting Bucs, they come in with some fresh legs as they got the week off last week thanks to the early season bye. And usually you hope your bye comes a little bit later in the year. But when you get a chance to get fresh legs back, you take that time and you run with it. Set to go now in Week 6 of the NFL season, and we are underway on EA Sports. This is fielded a couple yards deep. And he's up past the 20 to the 22-yard line. So out come the Bucs now for their first drive. And we get a look at a man in his 4th season already at the controls of the Bucs offense. From Florida State, it's Jameis Winston. And coming off of an early season open week. And in this situation, what he told us when we sat down with him was he spent a lot of time working on fundamentals, kind of getting back to basics during that time, as opposed to having to worry about healing up or resting up. It's too early in the season. Get back to the basics, get his game going again. Oh, he's going to take a shot right away. He's got a man, complete. And he takes this one all the way across midfield into enemy territory down to the 40-yard line. A gain of 39 that time. They've got good playmakers on the offensive side of the ball. I don't know what happened last week to really hurt their performance and hold down their production, but I would dare say that this week in practice, there's a lot of talk about how they're going to increase their proficiency. And that was a good start, getting the playmakers involved. You mentioned that to me pregame. That's what they... And Winston lost the football. Plays like this where the ball comes free, it's often unusual for the team that lost it to get it back, because this is the quarterback. The ball gets away from him. Everyone else is trying to execute what they're supposed to do on offense. They're usually looking in the other direction, downfield, or have moved away from him. In this case, though, the teammate is able to come up with the ball. And down to the 44, 5 yards that time. And we get a glance now at the Buccaneer offense. And my eyes immediately go to Mike Evans. 4 straight 1,000-yard seasons to begin his career. His numbers may have dropped a little bit in 2017, but he commands respect from every defense with his height and his ability to run downfield and make a big catch. Third and long for Winston. He's going to let this go. Now a clash of bodies here, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Robert Alford. And a big turnover there as his guys will get the football back. They were ball hawks last week. They had a trio of interceptions on defense. In the first drive, they pick up right where they left off. They're creating quite a reputation for themselves, aren't they? And sometimes what happens is when they know that the defense can take the ball away, as they saw the previous week, now you try too hard to not let them take it away, and you force yourself into errors. They've intimidated them in a sense and gotten the ball from them. And some room for him there as he'll take this up to about the 15. He'll get a nice chunk there on the first down run, and it's 2nd and 4. Charles, they won last week despite him not running the ball well. They told us need to get him going. Runs like that help. And they talked to us about leaning on him because, as you noted, last week they didn't have to. They still won the ball game. They leaned on other people to give them the yardage that they needed, but they really want him to be that guy, and that's what they're doing early in this game. We'll give him 10 yards on that one, and that'll earn him a fresh set of downs. And just a small glimpse there as to why they like this rookie so much. And that's why they lit up a little bit in our meetings with the coaching staff, didn't they? When we talked about him, they did. Yeah, you know, they like his work ethic. You know, this guy's running every route well in the route tree and getting better at it all the time, really honing his game. They expect a pretty good jump out of him as things continue to move on. And that play going absolutely nowhere as he's belted before he could get out of the backfield.
Nice play right there to stop him behind the line, but I want to see how this defense continues to play him here in the first half.
Yeah, we know. You know better than I. He has the ability to take over a game, so what do you do?
Yeah, I think you have to make sure that you bottle him in at varying levels, because if you crowd everyone to the line of scrimmage, if he breaks through, there's nothing but room to run.
Now Marshall. And down he goes, but he takes it up to the 40. That one good for 16, and the drive will continue.
And that's a run that'll energize an offensive line. They'll take that one all day long. Fundamental breakdown by the defense. You've got to be able to make plays on the edge.
They'll throw on first down with Ryan. Complete over the middle to Hardy. And he'll go down right around the 47 this time. 7 yards, the pickup on the pitch and catch.
One thing you're hoping for when you run drag routes, you're able to hit a receiver in stride, and he can pick up a lot of yardage after the catch. But in this situation, the defense was effective, able to stop him before he could get a good head of steam going.
And he'll be taken down at the 44-yard line. It's a 9-yard gain, and it keeps the drive moving.
That's a very nice game there. A confidence-building run. Love the execution up front. And the way he pressed the hole, absolutely perfect.
So from Buccaneer territory now, it's 1st and 10 at the 44-yard line. This is Freeman on 1st and 10. And he takes it down to the 40 with a pickup of 4.
I call that play a success. A nice inside run sets up a very manageable second down. A very solid gain on that play.
Let's go. Hey, let's go.
Freeman again. And forget about finding a lane. He barely had time to look up before he was planted in the backfield. It's a loss of 2, now 3rd down.
Count me as a little bit surprised by what we just saw there, because this has been a pretty long drive, and normally you think that wears down a defense. In this case, looked like the offensive line let them down a little bit.
Yeah, allowed the penetration and the ability to stuff him for a loss. On 3rd down, Ryan. And he's got a man, Calvin Ridley. And brought down, but not before they're inside the 25. They call it a gain of 19, and it moves the chains. So we've reached the end of a fairly even first quarter of play. 0-0 our score. And they're on the move here. They've got it 1st and 10.
Hey, let's go. On.
Now the pitch to Freeman. And he is met in his tracks behind the line of scrimmage. So a loss of 5, and it'll be 2nd down.
I know when I was a kid, I always got real excited when I saw those lateral-type runs. But the best backs that made it happen, they put a foot in the ground and just go. That didn't happen there. That play got swallowed up.
Get up. Get up.
Now they'll run it on the toss. And he'll get this one down to about the 27. Just a yard on the gain there, and that leaves him with 14 yards still to go on 3rd down.
Well, they had that one sniffed out. Excellent run blitz. Stopped that one for a short gain.
What makes a good run blitz a good run blitz?
The ability to stay on task, to follow up your assignment, go to the gap you're supposed to cover, and not be deterred by anything else.
And now maybe they want some extra time to talk about this third and long play as we'll get a timeout. They'll have 2 remaining as we step aside here in this second quarter.
Let's go.
Third and long. It's Ryan. That's going to be caught. And he is into the end zone for a Falcon touchdown. Austin Hooper, his second touchdown on the season. And the Falcons are in for 6. The tight end can kind of be that diamond in the rough secret weapon that you have, and right there they show you why.
And it's becoming less of a secret, isn't it, partner? Every game that we do nowadays, the tight end is a featured receiver, not just a blocker, as in the days of old.
Bryant's extra point up and good, and that makes the score 7-0. This fielded a few yards into the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. And Tampa Bay trots out there now. And there are parts of their last drive they'd like to emulate. And, of course, they'd like to forget the ending, the interception. But they did put together, Charles, a nice sustained drive to get him down the field.
Yeah, and unfortunately for them, the only thing that matters is part 2, right? Because once they threw the interception and finished off the drive, that does them no good to go back and say, well, you know, we had a good one going. Finish things off. That's the only way you can get it done.
They'll start out on the ground with Jones. And he's brought down, getting this one up to about the 35. 10 yards there to start the drive, and just enough by about the length of the football for a first down.
Tremendous blocking by the interior of the offensive line. They didn't just gash him there. They blasted a gaping hole for him to gallop through. I think if he comes back to the huddle, he better be giving them a whole lot of credit and thanking them for that much space to rumble.
Ready. Black 22. Boys, head up. Boys, up.
Now a play fake here on first down. And this one caught by Cameron Brate. And he gets this one to midfield before he's brought down. 15 yards through the air and a first down.
Well, from an offensive perspective, that sure was pretty, because the corner route is extremely difficult to defend from my perspective.
What we just saw there, is that sort of the evolution of the tight end position?
Yeah, I think it is, because more and more tight ends are being treated like wide receivers. These are some agile players who can make a play in any spot on the field.
It's brought in by Adam Humphries. And he gets this inside the 35-yard line. Another big hitter there. This one good for 18. And now the passing game here in the second quarter starting to heat up a little bit.
Don't you feel the rhythm starting to happen, right? You see it now. The confidence is starting to rise. I think now as a play caller, because that has happened, you lean on it a little bit more. You don't go totally away from running the football, but you do say, guess what? We can throw it. We can throw it well with a whole lot of confidence.
Now a first down carry by Jones. And a nice little quick spin move before he's dropped. And a pretty good gain. 9 yards is the pickup there, and they'll have a 2nd and 1. Two minutes to go here in the first half. We're back to Atlanta right after this timeout. And we'll remind you that coming up at halftime, we'll join Jonathan Coachman and the gang in Orlando. Coach will have stats and scores from the early games going on here around the NFL. Now a second down throw for Winston. And he'll dump it underneath to his running back, complete. And they've got it inside the 10 at the 8. A nice pickup of 14, and it moves the stick, sets up a 1st and goal.
Let's go now.
And this is why trying to cover the angle route is so difficult. Anyone playing the linebacker position, when they see a running back out of the backfield widen because he heads towards the flat first, oftentimes you widen too much and overcommit. He cuts up inside, and that's what we saw there. A nice pickup for a 1st down.
And that is caught, but he will come down out of bounds, says the side judge, incomplete. He was trying to find Deshaun Jackson that time, and it's 2nd down.
And that's one he's got to be happy to have back. There wasn't a hole open in the zone.
You'd have to think on early downs like that 1st down there, need to be a little bit more careful.
Yeah, fortunately for him, got a couple more downs to play with.
Nothing on 1st down, so the ball remains at the 8-yard line, 2nd and goal. Now Jameis on 2nd down. And he's going to be taken down, sacked back around the 18-yard line. Desmond Bryant with a great push up front. He picks up the sack and a loss of 8.
2nd goal, last thing you need to do is get pushed backwards to take a sack. But he couldn't find anywhere to go with the football. Had to eat it and ended up on the ground.
Winston needing a big play after the sack as he leads the Bucs up on 3rd and long.
Ready.
From the gun, Winston. And he's got it. Now Jones is hit. He lost the football. And the Falcons say they have it. They do. So the defense there, opportunistic.
It's nice to give them credit, isn't it? Because so many times it's more a matter of what the offensive guy didn't do. Didn't secure the ball, didn't cover up. In this case, let's just give credit to where it belongs. Knocked it free, made a big play.
Atlanta now coming out on the field. And we'll see how this is played. Offensively, they've got the lead. Not a whole lot of time left. What do you think, Charles?
Well, it's tempting to try and add to your lead. But a mistake there, that can change things in a big way. I say go ahead, take the knee, get on out for the half.
And he's going to lose yardage back to his own 1-yard line. That's going to go as a loss of 4, and it'll be 2nd down.
Hey, let's go.
Anytime you call an inside running play, you just know there should be a lot of congestion there. You're counting on your offensive line to take control of the line of scrimmage. That didn't happen in this case, and that play got bottled up.
Again, they'll run with Freeman. And now where are they going to mark him here? Well, they say he did get back to the 1-yard line, but that could have easily been 2 points the other way. All right, so the timeout over and all 11 men back out onto the field for the defense. They'd like to avoid punting from their own end zone so they could use something here on 3rd down.
Hey, let's go.
Now they'll run it on the toss. And he will forge his way forward only up to the 2-yard line. Now the Buccaneers go ahead and take another timeout as it comes with 22 seconds to go here in half number 1. So the defense had a chance to catch their breath, and now they're back out and ready. Here's Matt Bosher now. And no room for error here as his first punt comes from deep in his own end zone. And he's able to get it out of there, and this is a pretty good kick. Here's Jackson. Nice job bringing that one back. 14 on the return. And control of the football, switching hands with very little time remaining until the half. The Buccaneers in good field position here to start out 1st and 10. Jameis now on 1st down. Now he'll dump it underneath to his running back, complete. Now a timeout. 7 seconds left in the first half. That 1st down completion only netted him 3. 2nd and 7. Second down, Winston. It's caught. Humphreys. 20. And he takes it down deep into Atlanta territory. So we are at halftime here in Atlanta with the Falcons out in front. As we'll head down to Orlando, that's where we find our man Jonathan Coachman at our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach.
All right, Brandon, thanks. A few teams starting to rise to the top as it's time to take you around the NFL here in Week 6. We'll start with one that had to happen this year. The 50th anniversary season of Super Bowl III. The Colts in New York to take on the Jets. And it's the Colts who have the lead in that one. A touchdown pass there for Andrew Luck. Lastly, let's check on one final game for you. And you can see they are scoreless as they play the second quarter. In our game, it was the former MVP, Matt Ryan, with a strong first half. His guys have the lead as we'll hand it back over to our commentators, Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
Okay, Coach, appreciate it. A one-touchdown game here as we get set to resume play in the second half. This is fielded at the goal line. They'll bring it back to just about the 25, call it the 24-yard line. Now the Falcons offense, they get ready to head back out here. They have the lead, now they'll be looking to extend that lead.
And this is where I enjoy talking about one of my favorite subjects, tendency breakers, or counters as I also like to call them. You've done things in a certain way in the first half, and they've had the ability to see what you've done. They're going to make their adjustments. So guess what? You adjust yourself and try and stay ahead of the pace because you are looking for some separation in this ball game.
The adjustment to the adjustment.
Without a doubt. Show them one thing, hit them with something else.
Now they'll run it on the toss. And he'll get it up near the 35, right at the 34 here. 2 yards on the pickup there, but it's enough to give him a new set of downs.
Ordinarily in short yardage, most people don't run a toss because it takes a little bit longer to develop. But some teams see it as a very physical type run because the amount of people that get out in front of the runner, offensive linemen, tight ends, sometimes an extra back, they like to run that play there and try and run over people.
And he'll get this up to about the 40. Ryan on the handoff. It's Freeman. And he'll be brought down right at the 45-yard line. They get 5 out of that one, and it moves the chains.
Running lanes were at a premium in the first half, but he's able to find some room there, and he's hoping that that's a precursor of a big second half.
Let's go. Hey, let's go.
Right back to him on first down. And he'll be taken down just shy of midfield after a gain of about 4. Now, they struggled to get him rolling on the ground in the first half, and that's sort of continuing here in the third quarter.
Yeah, but I don't think it's time to abandon the running game. I would say keep feeding the horse, and I believe he'll eventually reward them, especially as we get deeper in the game.
Hey, let's go.
Now they'll throw it with Ryan. It's caught over the middle. Hooper. And he'll be taken down at the 44-yard line. He had the touchdown earlier. This one's going to get him a first down. That's a staple of this offense. Drag route to the tight end.
Yeah, he was unable to use his size to break off much more yardage after the catch, but still an effective gain nonetheless.
Now they'll run it on the toss. And they will stop him after a fairly minimal pickup. Noah Spence in on the stop.
Well, we saw him there trying to get it to the outside, trying to get to the perimeter, but not a whole lot of room there. But there's got to be one positive to that. If you keep moving laterally, creases tend to develop as the game moves on, and they can run it back inside later.
They stay on the ground. This is Marshall again. And able to break one tackle, but then quickly brought down. It'll be a pickup of 5, and that leaves them with 5 more. 3rd and 5 now.
Looks to me like maybe there's a little attrition setting in with this drive, because when you see that type of a run, I get the feeling the defense getting a little bit tired.
And that's the last thing they need, especially when they look up at the scoreboard.
Got it. You ready? Hey, Tuesday.
Ryan. Pressure from his right, and he goes down hard, flat on his back. Tyler Davison in there to drop him for a 6-yard loss, and that'll lead to a 4th down. The punter Bosher on now as he gets this one away. And this is going to hit the goal line and continue on into the end zone for a touchback. Here comes the Buccaneers offense. They get their first reps of the second half. They were able to get the stop defensively. Now a chance really to set the tone here in quarter 3.
They can really take charge, can't they? And this is probably how it was drawn up at the half. I think we can go inside the locker room, all right? And I think we would see up on the grease boards, stop them defensively, get the ball back from the offense, and let's go downfield and score. Seems simple, right? The last part, we have to find out that's going to happen. But the first part worked to perfection. Did exactly what they wanted, and now their offense has to pay it off.
See if they can get the latter 50%.
Whenever we meet with coaches and they always talk about wanting to establish running the football, it's oftentimes with a good tight end who can control the line of scrimmage and the point of attack, and they're becoming harder to find because the colleges are giving us a whole lot of receiving tight ends, former wide receivers who can run, not necessarily block very well. In this case, though, we saw 2 tight ends on the field, both of them with the ability to block, and he ran the ball successfully behind that power set.
The false start backs him up 5, 1st and 15. After the penalty, it's Jones. And he's going to lose yards. They take him down at the 26. That's going to go as a loss of 2, and it'll be 2nd down.
That defensive front 4 has been very good. They have just not let the running game get going, have they?
Not at all. In fact, the entire offense just looking a little bit out of sync in this one.
Yeah, sometimes this is why coaches like 4-down defensive linemen, they feel like they can cover more ground when defending the run.
On 2nd down, it's Jones. And that one blown up quickly as he's going to be stopped before he can even get started. They'll lose a yard, and it brings up 3rd.
An interesting and intriguing decision there defensively because they kept extra DBs on the field despite seeing the multiple tight end look that came out for the offense.
I thought they were going to switch out of it. I didn't know if they felt they didn't have time or what the case was.
Well, in any event, the extra speed allowed for great penetration as they stuffed that one behind the line of scrimmage.
And now they're looking for 19 yards here on 3rd down following 2 negative plays. Working out of the gun, Winston. That's complete, middle of the field to Humphreys. And he'll be brought down right at the 30 here. Now after the completion, we're going to get a timeout, an injured player. Well, he gets attended to. We'll step aside. Here's Brian Anger now as he's on to punt for the first time this afternoon. This is away. It's a high kick, and he got all of it. This is fielded at the 7. Back now here on EA Sports. It's the Falcons. They've got the football. They've got the lead as we get set to start the 4th. Ryan will bring the Falcons up now 1st and 10 at their own 16. The drive will start with a carry by Devontae Freeman. And this has been a familiar sight all afternoon as they stop him behind the line. And the trend continues here in the 4th like it was in the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. He's had nowhere to run.
And you're probably thinking to yourself, why do they keep feeding him the football? Well, they trust him first and foremost. They do believe that over time he might actually pop one of these runs. The bottom line is he takes care of the ball well for them.
Now look at this. They get the turnover they needed. It's intercepted. Picked off at the 47. And they get the football. They'll set up shop at their own 49-yard line. A critical error there in a tight game of the 4th.
All you talk about is taking care of the football, and especially with a lead here in the 4th quarter, turning it over, now the door is open for the opposition.
Just in general, when you're passing in the 4th quarter with a lead, no matter at what point, you got to be super careful.
Got to be careful, and sometimes you can be so careful that you end up running yourself into an error.
A dump underneath to Jones. And he'll get it into enemy territory just across midfield at the 49. One thing I think that's safe to say defensively, the tackling's been really good.
And because of that, it's been very, very hard for them to move the ball because you're not getting the benefits of run after catch. They're tackling him almost on the spot. That means you have to run extra plays, harder to move it.
Jameis to throw it. And his throw here's incomplete. I guess they're in a situation now, 4th quarter, where they're forced to take some chances, but I don't know that that was the type of a chance you want to take.
And that one could very easily have been intercepted, and if it does get picked off, that could possibly seal this one.
The Bucs on 3rd down, 0 for 3 to this point. They could use a conversion. This is 3rd and 8. From the shotgun, it's Winston. And he is going to be wrapped up and slung to the turf. Man, he got in there so quickly, Charles. What could the offense have done to adjust and account for that?
But what you're hoping is that you figure out and you see and get a clue that maybe there's going to be some pressure coming at you, and you change the blocking schemes. Maybe you go to max protection. The biggest one is maybe you bring your running back in to try and keep you clean. But in that case, that didn't happen. Zero accountability, and a sack resulted.
Give him 11 yards that time on the return. And the Falcons will get it 1st and 10 from deep in their own territory. Atlanta now coming out on the field. Right now clinging to a 1-score lead, Charles, and I think operating within that 4-minute offense with a little less than 4 minutes to go applies here, right?
It certainly does, and that means the playbook is still wide open. But you are a little bit more careful about what you're calling. You want plays that are going to gain yardage, how would you say it, consistently, right? You don't need the big shots downfield, but make sure the clock continues to run. Pile up the first downs. And the goal, end the game with your quarterback kneeling down at the end, and you still have the lead.
On 2nd down, here's Ryan. And the hit jarred it loose. It's incomplete.
Going with a dime look on defense. 2 extra defensive backs on the field and covered up essentially every blade of grass. That allowed them to disrupt the play.
One of the bigger plays in the game thus far, and the crowd getting into it as we come up on a big 3rd down.
Watch two.
Out of the gun, it's Ryan. This is brought in by Hardy. And he's taken down at the 43, but not before picking up the first. A really nice gain of 25 yards. Big hook up there, forced to throw it on 3rd down. The connection's going to keep the drive alive and also keep the clock moving.
Yeah, and from a defensive perspective, didn't get a sack, didn't knock the ball free, didn't break up the pass. The clock keeps running on you. You're in a dire situation now.
Get up!
Now they'll run it on the toss. And this one's going to go the wrong way, losing yardage back at the 42. That's going to go as a loss of a yard, and it'll be second down. And in this situation with a lead fourth quarter, they're liking keeping the ball on the ground, I'm sure.
That's just smart football, but you know the defense has to know it as well. They've got to stop them here. So now we're going to see that loading the box in a big way. 6, 7, 8, 9, whatever it's going to take, puts a little bit more pressure on your big offensive line.
Time for a break. We're back to see what happens after this. So it's Falcon football as we welcome you back. And let's see what they've come up with offensively after having time to talk it over. This is Marshall. And he's going to take this one up only to about the 44-yard line. And now right out of the 2-minute break, we'll get a timeout used defensively with 1:56 to go. The Falcons on third down. They've converted 3 out of 5 thus far. This is 3rd and 9.
Let's go. Tuesday. Let's go, keep tighten up. Hey, South.
Ryan to throw. He's got Sanu. And now we're going to get a timeout defensively. So another stop, 1:50 left in the football game. So a defensive timeout, chance to regather, regroup, and get set as we resume action. Ryan now, 5 straight completions here in this second half, 1st and 10. And here's Marshall. And a short gain there down to the 37-yard line. The Bucs forced to use their 3rd and final timeout as they'll talk things over prior to this upcoming second down play. Now they'll run it on the toss. And able to push his way forward here for a good little gain. 5 yards on the pickup, and that's going to lead to a 3rd down. And now the question everyone's wondering, look at the clock, late fourth quarter, do they put the ball in the air here on 3rd?
I don't. I run the football, and I tell my offensive line, no leakage up front. I don't want my running back hit as I hand the ball off to him. I don't want any type of an issue. But if I am going to throw it, quick throw, out to the perimeter, maybe one of my best receivers running a quick slant or something like that.
On 3rd down, Devontae Freeman. No gain on the play there, and it'll bring up 4th down. Seems pretty obvious defensively a key was stopping the run game. How have they done it so successfully?
To me, it seems that these guys really did a nice job of paying attention during the scouting report meeting. And you know, Brandon, when they do those, they talk about the top plays that these guys like to run. The best runs for the top running back, those are the ones you focus on and want to take away. And they've done that pretty successfully in this game.
So they're going to come to the line here, and it appears try to go for it on 4th. They'll try and throw for it with Ryan. And Marshall's got it. And he's taken down, but not before reaching the 10-yard line. That one a backbreaker as they wind up converting there on 4th. A gutsy decision there, going for it on 4th, but they got it, and that likely puts an end to this one.
Indeed, it was gutsy because there's so many other options they probably could have exercised in that situation, but they bet on themselves, and it paid off.
And the kick is good, so you wonder how this one might be remembered the next time these two teams meet. But until then, this game's over. The storyline in this one, Charles, no doubt the number 0. Zilch, nada. A shutout so hard to do in the NFL.
It really is, and what an accomplishment, because you feel that not just on the defensive side, but as a full team. There's a lot of pride that goes into shutting out an opponent. And how about that 0 on the scoreboard for them, going along with those zeros in the time column?